In 1984, in a small town called East Rockwell, Utah, the entire town is part of the Latter-day Saints or Mormon Church. Jeb Pyrie is a detective along with his Native American non-religious partner Bill Taba, who come across a grisly murder of a young mother and her 15-month-old child. As they get closer to solving the case, Detective Pyrie is being held back from justice by the very faith he has based his life around, just so that he doesn't dig up the true dark past the church is based on.
Under the Banner of Heaven touches on the very nature of faith versus instinct, of doing the right thing or believing what you're told. Both Detective Pyrie and we the audience ask, can true faith be broken?
The core faith that Brother Pyrie is raised in is an integral part of not just the community, but for himself and his family, teaching fundamentals that seem good in practice, such as being kind to others, the greater good, and all following the same principal ideologies of good and evil. In the same way, Detective Taba is very much an outsider, being seen as not belonging due to a combination of not practicing their collective faith or the subtle racism of being a Paiute Native American in a society of white people. Despite his not following a religion, he does believe in the law and basic principles of right and wrong, trusting more in his gut and instinct than a higher power. Although different dynamics come to a similar solution as the series progresses, with both of them being forced to face the truth.
Like all good police officers, or those whose lives are entrusted to others, there's a basic duty to protect and care for as many people as possible. So many of the characters come off as either disingenuous or holding of their tongues from their real feelings or opinions. This is intentional, as much like any strict religion, which the LDS community is, follows more around appearance, from the clothing, political leanings, finances, and even inability to certain rights, based on gender, race, and status. Because of this, the duty of care is very much in a fog of gray. When given the choice between family or religion, it's not as simple as one would think. Everything is seen as a test of faith, which makes both choice and duty truly irrelevant in the end.
As the story progresses, the perpetrators of the repeated horrendous crimes are linked to the Lafferty family, an extremely popular family associated with the church community, even dubbed the Kennedys of LDS. The more that becomes uncovered and the finger of blame is pointed square at the Lafferty clan. Despite the overwhelming and damning evidence, the church tries to get everyone to sweep the crimes and the actions under the rug, to turn a blind eye, and to allow them to get away with their crimes. In this way, it allows them to keep their social status and to not rile up any of the faithful into disbelieving of the community. But by turning a blind eye, it allows for more corruption, more of these acts to continue and escalate. Bill, unlike Jeb, is not conflicted with his beliefs, as he doesn't compromise based on faith and sees everything for what it truly is. Knowing that if the church is willing to turn a blind eye to murder, and especially murder of a child, then there's no end to what it would cover for its own image.
As discussed previously in a different hypothetical, the reason people go towards religion as a default is the same reason people scream out of fear or laugh when something is funny. It's an instinctual comfort that gives us a form of control over things that we can't understand. By allowing ourselves, even for a brief moment, to have a calm in a storm, we feel that we can face anything coming our way. Constantly, Jeb is asking for guidance, praying, trying to go to others and see if maybe their aspects, input, or thoughts can help not just solve this case, but truly understand if he's doing the right thing or not. When people are unsure, often they turn to loved ones or people they care about. And more often than not, it's not because they actually want their opinions, but it's because they want confirmation that what they're doing is the right course of action. This peace of mind allows us to keep moving forward, and it's just simply seen as a matter of reassurance for whatever comes our way.
When the story comes near the conclusion, Detective Pyrie feels alone, scared, unsure of his faith, his beliefs, and everything he has been taught. Finding out that so much of the church practices were either revised, rewritten, or covered up to keep up this image of positivity with a history of blood atonement and persecution. At one point, there is a high-ranking member of the church that tries to tell Bill, a Paiute-born native, the history of the Mormon Church and the Paiute Nation, a history that Bill was taught based around a first-hand account that was vastly different and horrific compared to the version that is taught in the Mormon faith.
At one point, Jeb breaks down, unsure where to guide himself without his faith and unsure if he actually has it anymore. Bill punches him hard in the gut and tells him that he doesn't believe in faith. He believes in facts, that you don't need to follow anyone but yourself. If you want to believe in something, you should use your gut instinct to help you. When given the option between fact and fable, Jeb finally follows the facts of the case to resolve it. So, can true faith be broken? At the end of the story, Jeb Pyrie himself never truly gives a definitive choice between faith and instinct. Having gone through such turmoil and crisis of faith, he's still somehow able to come out the other side, possibly for the better, because faith itself is the principle of utterly believing in something or someone, whether it's a church or yourself.
Believing, much like breathing, thinking, or any other sense, can change due to its execution. From time to time, we will have moments where you will speak out of turn, think the wrong thing, or maybe breathe in at a time when you shouldn't, causing us to choke. Faith is really nothing more than an emotional feeling, and it doesn't make you greater or less than to subscribe to it, despite what others may say.
Ultimately, it's each individual's decisions and feelings on things that can be swayed by their faith. Or sometimes, their faith can just remain a part of them, that just helps them get from day to day. Maybe the faith in something greater than yourself isn't nearly as important as faith in yourself to begin with. But in the end,
these aren't answers. They are hypotheticals.
Quote-unquote monster.
The juxtaposition is just bananas.
He was someone to believe in and someone to trust.
That he wasn't the nice person that everybody thought he was.